going over what an EAP is today, what employees have access to through this program, why EAPs are so important, especially in the United States right now. I'll do a brief website demo and then I'll have time for questions. But like I said, if anything comes up as I'm going through this presentation, please feel free to drop it in the chat and I'll try to catch it. So EAP stands for Employee Assistance Program. This is available to employees 100% paid by their employer, so there's no extra cost to access these services or resources. The most important thing about an EAP is even though it's paid for by your employer, it is confidential. So when you engage those resources in any way, what you're searching for, what you're seeking, maybe counseling sessions for, that does not go through your employer. That is confidential. In addition to those counseling sessions, you also have access to a plethora of resources. We'll look at that when we go through the website demo here in just a little bit. But you also have access to legal and financial consultations. You have about 30 minutes for legal consultations per incident per year. And that does not cut into the number of sessions that you have for counseling. And then you have access to unlimited financial consultations. As long as you're accessing those during regular working hours, regular business hours, that is a huge help if you're dealing with any sort of legal or financial stress that can be hugely distracting while you're working. So we'll go through how to access that as well. An EAP is really meant to be support for your well-being. And those counseling sessions are really for major life events. It's so difficult to show up fully for work when you're experiencing, maybe you're going through a divorce, maybe you've been through a recent car accident. When you're experiencing those types of things, that's the best time to engage your EAP. And this also benefits your family. We very rarely are experiencing life alone. So this applies to your family, your household members, dependents up to age 26. So like I said, you have that confidential counseling sessions and referrals. We have our 800 number, which will be on the screen several times throughout this presentation. I'll point it out when it is. You can call, you can go to the member portal and you can select a provider that way. You can email your intake. You can access your EAP really however it's comfortable for you. If you do need to go to your HR just to ask them questions about your EAP, your HR can help you get connected to our service navigation team as well. And from there, it will be all confidential. We have a provider network of over 36,000 licensed providers across the country. So very, very flexible as well. If you're needing to sit at home and virtually meet for your counseling session, those options are available. And like I said, there's coverage for your immediate family members. I love to use the example of, say you have a kiddo that's going off to college. That first year is the most stressful year. I've been through it. And you want to get them access to your EAP, even if they're going to college out of state, they can still access those benefits and those resources. Like I said, when we go through the member portal, you'll see there's just so many different educational resources that you have access to. They typically are sorted by category. So if you're looking for something specific, that's a great way to start, just to figure out your next steps. Something that really sets us apart is our service navigation team. They are live when you call during normal business hours. And then we also have we have crisis clinicians on staff. So if you call, we do have after hours people answering if there is anything going on, say you're experiencing just an escalation, you're experiencing a crisis in your life, we do have clinicians on staff that will help de-escalate, help you kind of navigate what your next best steps are. Instead of having to hang up, call 988, figure it out for yourself, we do have people on our team that will help support you. Also on our member portal, we have resource locator assistance. This can be anything like, say you're looking for child's care, what are some daycares in your area? Maybe you're looking for some assisted living. That can help you kind of locate those resources. As I mentioned before, you have access to legal assistance. So you can have access to like the 30-minute legal consultation. And then after that, say you need a referral to an attorney, you can get a discount of 25% to retain an attorney. You also have that unlimited financial consultation access. So if you're dealing with a sticky financial situation, maybe you're trying to figure out what your options are for buying a house. Maybe you are trying to figure out how you can support somebody who's going to be moving into an assisted living community. That's a great time to engage those financial consultations. We also have a savings center that you can access through the member portal, and it takes you to a different website. You sign up for it. You can even sign up for emails, but this could be anything from purchasing some clothing to maybe you're looking for a large appliance in your house. I would definitely look at the Savings Center to see what kind of discounts you can get, their employee discounts. We also at BPA Health offer trainings like this and also other webinars. I just went to one of our webinars this week that was caring for yourself while caring for others. It was really great. He had a very soothing voice. It was very lovely to listen to. So we have those. You can register for them and you get a notification and then you can join. It typically happens around this time or lunch hour if you're Mountain Time. And then, like I said, we have that 24/7 crisis hotline. So if you or somebody that you're working with is experiencing a hardship, a crisis, definitely give our service navigation team a call and they can help point you in the right direction. So our service navigators, when you call them, you just let them know what you're calling for, what you need access to, whether it be counseling sessions, maybe you're experiencing a specific issue in your life and you just need to know where to go. Definitely give them a call. They'll verify your eligibility very simply by just asking who your employer is. That way we know, yep, you have your EAP through your employer, and then we'll move on to a brief intake. And then the service navigation team will help steer you in the right direction. They'll also follow up with you. Life gets busy, anxiety gets in the way, so they're pretty good at making sure that you're getting what you need. If you have already somebody that you're working with, a provider that you're working with for counseling, and you'd really like them to access your EAP through that provider, definitely give service navigation a call and just let them know they can reach out and potentially work out some sort of deal with that provider so that you can access your EAP that way. And they're very good at looking through, what you've got going on, what kind of your needs are at that time. Maybe you're looking for a faith-based provider. Maybe you are looking for somebody that can help help your teenager get into some counseling sessions. They'll talk through your preferences and needs with you and help get you at least three providers that might work for you that you can connect with. And then, of course, we have that online therapy. We do have access to, we're partnering with BetterHelp, so they're in our provider network, and that offers so much flexibility there. So yeah, here's that BetterHelp that gives us access to so many more providers. If you know, it's nice to have access to BetterHelp through your EAP because just a solo subscription to BetterHelp is quite expensive. So yeah, you can access your EAP through BetterHelp. There is a link on the portal. I'll show you that. Otherwise, you can still call that. Here's our 800 number right here, 800-726-0003. That connects you to our service navigation team. And BetterHelp is great if you're just really looking for those flexible options. If you want to text therapy, if you want to video chat, if you want to just talk on the phone, this is a very, very flexible option. Something that is very helpful also is that this can get you access to providers that can help teens, so 13 and older. And then also couples therapy, which is not always covered by regular insurance. So that's a great option in those cases. There's a link on the portal. You follow that link, you register, but you also can call into service navigation and just let them know that maybe that's the direction that you want to go. They will send you a link to register to BetterHelp, and you can start accessing provider that way. So for those legal and financial consultations, like I said, for legal, you can access an attorney. They'll There's that 800 number. If you can see at this bottom of the screen, it's 888-775-2252. You can also call our service navigation team and they'll do a warm handoff for you. But essentially, you'll talk to them, let them kind of know what legal issue you're facing that you'd like to speak with an attorney about for your consultation, and they'll connect you to somebody that's licensed in that area. And again, this is per incident per year, and it does not cut into your regular sessions, your therapy sessions or counseling sessions. But also on our member portal, you have access to so many legal resources. If you're experiencing anything from maybe you want to create a will, to maybe you want to look at what your rights are as a tenant. I definitely encourage you in any sort of legal way to go check out your member portal. There's also, articles, podcasts, really, there's a lot of options on there, so many resources. You can be lost for days. There's also our financial consultations, again, available. That's unlimited, so available Monday through Friday during normal business hours. And again, a lot of resources on the member portal. I really enjoy the budgets. You can download a budget and help figure that out. That is always a journey to try to do your own budgeting and program it into Excel. So that's nice that you can just download that there. And again, they do not take away from your EAP counseling sessions. That number, the 888 number at the bottom here, it's also on the member portal. So I'll show you where that is. So EAPs are very, very important. This is a way that your employer can support your overall well-being because we're not robots. We're not just showing up to work and everything disappears. Life happens, right? So, and most importantly, when we don't address our issues, anxiety, stress, that can often turn into depression, which it causes 200 million lost work days per year in the US. Um, we're also, as as America is changing, we're experiencing a common stressor across Americans, and that is financial stress. That number is actually 73% of Americans report feeling stressed about money at least some of the time. Somewhere in the 80% feel financial stress just in general, depending on what's going on in the country at any given moment. Um, Importantly, Americans are overall becoming caregivers, not just for children, but also for our aging relatives. And this can create not only a lot of distraction while you're at work because you're thinking about the people that you're taking care of, but that can transition into work-related difficulties and also injuries. So having access to counseling sessions or resources that can help you address these issues that are coming up in your life, that's why we have EAPs, right? And then when it comes to estate planning, approximately 32% of Americans have an estate plan. That's leaving like over 60% of Americans that do not feel prepared with their estate planning. Most importantly, EAPs can be accessed for so many different reasons, and each generation can use an EAP differently, right? So baby boomers, this is an opportunity to have access to these resources that you're going to need to kind of prepare for life after retirement, to prepare for that transition rather than waiting until you don't have access to these free resources once you've retired. It's a really nice benefit to have access to these resources to start putting these plans in place so that you're not stressed about that once you have retired. You can focus on that transition. Gen X and millennials, these are our caregivers. So are baby boomers. These are our caregivers. Um, this is a good focus around EAPs to support work-life balance, to prevent burnout. Burnout is incredibly prevalent across the United States. It affects every generation and it affects every level of worker from management to frontline workers. So having access to these resources that help you take care of all things. And then millennials, Gen Z, these are your generations that are more likely to engage in therapy, and they are looking for that flexibility in therapy. So that makes, the telehealth and other options very, very nice. So we'll do a little website demo. I'll try to switch my screens here. Here we go. Please let me know if you're seeing the Wellbeing for Everyone BPA. I'm gonna assume you are. Yay, thank you. Okay, so this is just our main website. Awesome, thanks guys. This is just our main website, and this is how you can access the member portal. So you'll go over here to member login. So once you're here, you click here, member login, you go here, you type in company name, whatever that is. And then it says toll-free number listed below. So right here, Employee Assistance Program. It's this 800 number, the same one that you'll call service navigation, just without the dashes. So that's the 800-726-0003. I'm already logged in over here, so I'll show you what that looks like. So this is your home page once you get logged in. You'll see member resources. When you click this, this will take you over to a different page, and that's going to be all of those like legal, financial, saving center, everything that we talked about that's going to live here. Over here in this area, you're going to see like the number of sessions that are available to you through your EAP. And then some of these nice reminders that we talked about in this presentation today. If you want to find a provider, that's here. We'll go there in just a second. And then that BetterHelp login, if you're wanting to access your EAP through BetterHelp, you'll click this button. It will take you to a different page and you'll register for BetterHelp that way. And then we correspond, our service navigation team corresponds with BetterHelp. So if I'm wanting to search for a provider again, if you don't want to do this yourself, just call our 800 number and speak to our service navigation team. That's what they're there for. But if you would rather search yourself, that's totally fine. Here's some information. That number again, if you ever forget it, go to search for a provider and it'll be here. You can text, you can email your intake. You can email intake, just letting them know what you're needing and correspond that way. Important to note is that if you are on your phone, this might set up a little differently. So it'll kind of make the page much longer. So when you go to search for a provider, if you're on your phone, just scroll down until you see filters, and then you can filter by location, which I definitely recommend. You can filter through specialty. So if you're looking for maybe family counseling, like I said, faith-based, if there's a specific, first responders, if there's a specific thing that you're experiencing, definitely look through specialty. Ages, like I said, maybe you're looking for a provider for somebody else, somebody in your family. Provider availability, hours, provider gender, if you want to specify. If you're searching for somebody else and they speak a different language, there's also that option. And then once you filter through, you'll see your provider options through here. It's important to note that before your first counseling session, you should let provider or service navigation know that you're engaging your EAP. If you've already scheduled that counseling session, just let them know who it's with, when it is. You can do that again. You can call, you can text, you can email. So I'll go ahead and go back. So I'll go ahead and go over to member resources. So like I talked about before, if you remember, it was a few slides ago, that work-life inquiries or work-life queries, that 888 number up here, that's where you can call to connect to legal consultation, financial consultation. And again, you can just call the 800 number. Our service navigation team will help connect you as well. This is our homepage. We do like to feature some of these resources in our EAP monthly newsletter that goes to your HR person who can forward that to you. So we recently featured our will maker. This is just a guide in creating a will that can be spendy sometimes and it can be a lot. So this resource can be super helpful. At the bottom, we have some other options as well that we're featuring. Up here at the top, these are kind of the categories that you can cycle through to look for specific resources. We have parenting, all sorts of items here. Maybe you're looking for schools, maybe you're looking for childcare. Again, once you go into specific areas, there might be a resource locator there. Aging, like we talked about, taking care of our aging relatives. Maybe you need to look at home care options, taxes, assistance, that kind of thing. All sorts of well-being options, health, work life. Here in this legal financial, this is where you can find like kind of those budgets that we were talking about. We also have international, say you're working on immigration, maybe you're looking at living abroad, working abroad. There's some resources here. That savings center, like I talked about, my page will load. You'll do click here to access the Savings Center. It'll take you to a different page. You'll register. You can sign up for emails to get notified on any cool any cool discounts that they have at that time. But if you're looking for certain items, I definitely recommend looking at that Savings Center before making your purchase. So I'm going to go ahead and switch my screen back.